Welcome to LSB Feaster's Radio Aircheck and Classic TV channel.
Stocks. And while they may not always agree on what stocks to buy and sell.
Well, I would just rather than go on hard cross, but I just feel like I'm not getting any goddamn help here. It's a problem this morning. You know what I'm saying? I mean, if I don't think of this shit and you don't tell me, do you understand what I'm saying?
Which shit is this?
All of this. I mean, just what we've got coming up.
Please shut up.
I've got to continually ask you. Here's Ali Marchese Cohen now with the 9X Mobile Fan Highway Patrol. What are you shaking your head about?
Because you're berating the staff once again.
No, but I was
no reason whatsoever.
Now, when I swear like that, is that on C-SPAN?
Yes.
I don't want that. I don't want to.
Well, then stop it.
Well, I don't want that on C-SPAN, or I don't want that anywhere.
Well, kill yourself then.
Well, I don't want to kill myself, but
Why?
I mean,
Well, I'll do
You have
it.
to control yourself.
but I don't feel like I'm getting any help here.
Do you feel
Then it's not just this morning; it's every morning.
Dr. Whitman?
Shut up. What are you talking about?
Well, I don't know. I've always got to ask what's going on and what's coming up, and somebody should be telling me that.
Yeah, you're right.
Shouldn't they?
Yes.
Then you get this. Shut up. I know what's coming up.
Absolutely. There's no win. It's a no. It's lose-lose.
How is it lose-lose?
Because you just can't. You're not hearing you guys in there. You guys, you
You're
pipe
talking too
down.
much. I've been doing this for 22 years. I know what's going on. Get in, get out. Shut up. Shut down.
What do you think the problem is, Dr. Whitman?
I think it's time for you to apologize. You really do that so well.
All right, well, I'm sorry, but I mean,
Oh, stop it. You don't want to hear it.
Senator said that health care is the #1 problem facing the...
Voiced their opposition to the health care plan.
Critical support for the health care.
Healthcare was a business issue long before it was a political one. Fortunately, a lot of businesses have had the answer for a long time.
Bernard?
HIP.
One-eyed.
We could do Rush Limbaugh, or we could do sports, which is sponsored by the stock exchange, or we could talk to the doctor.
We're going to do all three.
In what order?
HIP. Unlike other plans, there are no hidden costs. What's more, there's no
So-
deductible. There's even a $200 million program to enhance...
Isn't there any way they can beat me swearing?
No.
Which means that...
Well, I don't want to do that.
Well, just don't do it.
Well, I have an
I know
uncontrollable
you-
temper.
Tourette. Tourette.
It's not. I don't have Tourette.
But just
syndrome.
please stop. Just
Well,
don't
no,
do
but
it.
I'm telling you seriously.
For more information, call 1-800...
What?
It just goes on every day.
Yeah, well, I know, but just censor yourself. Just curtail.
I'm just talking about trying to stay on top of
I
it.
understand that. All I'm saying is just,
I want all of the
use
people,
another expletive.
I
That's
want
all.
all of the people and all of the local stations we're on to die.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do.
You don't
Especially
want
that
this kind
fat
of
guy I just met
horrible...
from Albany.
No, I promise you don't want that.
All right. Which stop set is this? The second? Sports. We're going to seg sports right out of this. Then we'll talk to Dr. Whitkin. Then we'll do Rush. No, you know what we'll do? We'll do Kinky. They ain't making Jews.
That's fine.
I'm going to lead with that Kerrigan cut.
Play that? Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
All right, I gotta go get it.
Okay, we'll do that. This is supposed to be in the studio, of course, but you go get it.
Do you have an interest in Bo Dietl?
Do you mean sexually?
For what? To talk about what?
Well, he's got some Yucarinos. He's just back from the Dominican Republic.
Hi, Brian Evans again.
Oh,
9X
man.
Mobile. Today I'm on the 735.
If we have time.
Free cellular phone up.
Hey, you're Brian Evans.
So it's your position I'm being unreasonable again?
Yes, that's my position.
Uptown and nobody can reach me.
You're being unreasonable. No, you're not being unreasonable. But I'm just saying that I would like to see you here in this particular setting, to just pull back a little bit in your explosive utterances that probably offend some people.
Up to 60 minutes of local talk time in your first, 7th,
That's all.
13th, and 19th full billing
I
cycles.
think they're alternative.
During this exclusive offer, you pay no activation fee. Visit your local 9X mobile center or call
Kinds of things you could say.
So I've been totally out of control this morning? Is that what you're suggesting?
No, you haven't been totally out of control. No, I refute
Here you go,
that.
coming up.
No, absolutely not.
Just go sag the sports thing I told you.
And early cancellation fee may apply.
Imus in the morning.
Damn it.
2020 Sports.
Most people are worried about me and wondering what happened, and those are the people that I want to tell that I'm okay. So, you know, it's not the most important thing, skating, so if I can't, I'll have to deal with it. But, you know, I'm okay, and it could have been a lot worse.
U.S. figure skater Nancy Kerrigan on ABC TV last night.
Let me just say this. Scott Muni, legendary New York disc jockey, been on the air here in New York for like 40 years at WFAN, been gracious enough to come over here this morning filling for Mike Breen. And this sports is sponsored by the New York Stock Exchange. And that's just another example of what I'm talking about. I said I wanted to play Kinky Friedman's They Ain't Making Jews Like Jesus Anymore.
Right.
Now, Lou.
Yeah.
Is there a possibility in the course of the 5 years that you've been my engineer that would ever come up? Would you think that would ever come up?
I don't know what you're talking about.
That I would ask for that. How often do we play that? Probably once a week?
You are deluded today.
How am I deluded? I'm just saying, why isn't it not in the studio?
It's not in the studio. You said you keep him in the office from now on.
Who said that?
You said that.
When did I? Is that a new policy I made?
You said it to me about a year ago, and it's always been.
Oh, well, I mean, a year ago, I must have been on something a year ago. I had a lung operation.
So now all the songs are in here now. Is that it?
No, just Kinky and Delbert.
You know, I told you all those Eagles records are supposed to be in there, too.
The Beatle records?
The Eagle records.
I don't like the Eagles anymore.
I don't like you.
Well, I don't like you either. Give me back the Christmas bonus then if you're so unhappy. All right. Once again here. I'm sorry you people have to hear this ugliness, but...
I could use the $5.
See, have you been observing all this, Dr. Whitkin?
Yes, I have.
Now, do you see how? I mean, I do understand. I mean, I'm a nice person, but I can be really a jerk. But I mean, I've when I say these things and they just don't do them. Why is that? Why don't they?
It's hard to find people who do things as well and as fast as you do. It's hard.
Oh, cut it out.
Oh, really?
She's on the payroll.
Man,
she's not on anybody's payroll. You know what's the point?
She's trying to get in your will.
Jesus.
Staples. We have 3 prices.
You know, I ought to kill you.
You ought to kill
I ought
yourself.
to kill you.
You ought to kill yourself.
I've got a Vital 4 spot here for 4 minutes.
Vital 4.
Vital K. And you're telling me, and you're jerking me around, giving me a horrible time about the stop set that I missed?
It's sets. It doesn't matter the individual commercials. We're worried about the networks and
the time.
Sets. And the whole new deal now with the syndication, as you know.
Oh, because of the other stations, you mean? Oh, yeah, good point. I knew that. I just want to see if you were up on that.
You're just an idiot. You really are. I mean, it's just horrible. To be so smart, how you could be such an idiot is just, it's a paradox that no one can explain.
Guaranteed low prices, the best service. Why go
What
anywhere
a
else?
fool.
So should I give that piece to the New York Times to run on their op-ed page, or should I give it to the Daily News?
Won't stop until everyone's a millionaire.
Give it to both.
At the same time?
Yeah.
You get off my
I heard you speaking about it. What's it about?
Can you
Kill myself?
can you do that? Can you send it to both papers?
I guess you could send it. I mean, you know, you could, like Al Marchesium, just send them out like...
Twice a week, we're trying to make you a millionaire. But you've got to play to win. So play today, and we'll do the rest. Because we won't stop until everyone's a millionaire.
What's happening?
CBS Central. How do I look on,
What?
Chuck?
Yeah, that's what we need, a little touch-up.
Okay.
Because you don't have to look like that.
Hey, you never know.
This is the CBS Evening News with Dan Rather and Connie Chung.
I don't think so, because Dan Rather, who is a frequent contributor to this program, and this woman who's been on a number of times herself, Connie Chung, hate each other.
Clearly.
And I look on, we don't have any makeup or anything, but...
Oh, you could stand a little,
I could stand
a tuck here, a nip there, particularly in this day and age when it's not necessary to look like that. You can have something done about that.
Because I just have... Well, I'm 53 years old.
You have California good looks. They have sustained. Of course, California also has the San Andreas Fault, doesn't it?
I am a recovering drug addict and alcoholic.
I'm well aware of that.
Okay, so I had some...
And a marvelous example for those people, by the way.
Well,
you've done well.
Let me tell you something else
right,
about people.
About
people like me who then go around, who manage to stop drinking and stop doing drugs, and then run around and shoot their mouth off about it. You know, pretty bogus job, because I was cut so much slack back in the years when I was at NBC and was drunk all the time or coked up simply because I was making them a lot of money. And it certainly wouldn't represent what would happen to a normal person with a normal job. So the fact that I recovered is a miracle. And
Amen.
it isn't
Tragedy.
doesn't have a lot to do with me
It's
either.
not a tragedy. It's not a tragedy, Bernard.
And these things cut across all social lines and stuff. Well, Tip O'Neill, of course, as you obviously know, passed away, and so did the president's mother, and he's on his way down there.
Yeah.
Janet Reno, who is a disgrace, I think, and dragging her. Well, I don't think it's necessary to disparage her. Don't we, Bob, the C-SPAN? What are you doing? Stop taking get away from there. I can't see what I'm. The C-SPAN cameraman. This is not. It's not like this is a 60 Minutes deal where we have to be nice to you.
You want I should smack him, Bob?
No, I don't want you to smack him, but
I will.
Don't worry, Bob. It's just an act.
Bob, can't you just get over there and just stop this?
He's really nice.
He's not a jerk. He really isn't.
All right. One of another thing I got ridiculed for was back in when Bill Clinton was running for president. I supported him, and I also supported one of the great senators in this country who they used to disparage, these jerks, by calling him Senator Pothole when he represents the people of New York the way a U.S. senator should represent people, like Bob Dole does the people of Kansas, and like Bill Bradley does to a lesser extent the people in New Jersey. And,
what do you mean?
Well, like Joe Lieberman and Chris Dodd when they have time. One of the great senators who they don't call Senator Pothole anymore.
No, they don't.
And one of the great Americans, Senator Alphonse D'Amato, is on the telephone. Good morning, Senator D'Amato.
Hey, Don, good morning. Happy New Year.
Thank you.
Repeat it after me.
Yes.
I will no longer pick on Bernard.
And
I will keep this resolution.
From
now on.
on.
Otherwise, Andrew Giuliani's going to knock the shit out of you.
Oh, my God. Send it around.
How are we all doing?
Oh, just great, Senator D'Amato. Just things are going great. You know this is on C-SPAN, don't you?
Oh, my God. I have to tell you something. You have now really arrived.
Yeah, this is really ridiculous, wasn't it? Anyway, how are you?
I'm good. But you better watch out for that alligator wrestler. She's going to come after you.
And,
you're going to get those investigators, those FCC boys, to get them cranked up, too.
Isn't that what do you make of all that?
I think she's hurting the president. I think she ought to have the you-know-whats, and I think she probably does have them. Think about that.
Yeah,
you get that one.
Fine, I got it, Senator
D'Amato. All right. To appoint an independent investigator, and so you get rid of this nonsense. I've been through this jazz. Where these jackasses throw charges at you, and
you did everything. You're building those condos down there for those Puerto Ricans in Puerto Rico, and you gave me a swimming pool. Of course, you've been through. God, let's not bring up what you've been through.
So the best way to get rid of this sucker is to get somebody, get it out, get the facts out, and show the people what it is, and you'll probably wind up helping the president. But what she's doing now is hurting the president, and the American people are wondering. And they've got the statute of limitations going. And I heard this jackass, what's his name, Papagile? You know what Papagile means?
No.
That's parrot. So whatever. I know I mispronounced his name.
You mean Paul Bagala?
Yeah, was that his name?
Yeah, well, no, he's not a jackass.
But when he started going after Bob Dole,
that was a cheap shot. That was cheap.
Inappropriate. And I say you did a heck of a job cutting him off and saying, wait a minute.
Yeah, that was a cheap shot, but Paul Bagala is a good guy. Believe me.
All right. But just remember, you can call him Papagile.
Okay.
You know that Papagile means parrot in Italian. My mama calls me it all the time. You parrot, Papagile. You never shut your mouth.
But speaking of that,
and I promise my New Year's resolution.
Yes.
I will not use inappropriate language.
Well, you already did.
On the Senate floor.
Oh, okay. But now, Paul Bagala did have a point, and I told him that I was not equipped to discuss it with him because I don't know what the facts are.
Yeah.
And this ain't Nightline. But does she have the authority to appoint a special prosecutor, or does she have to appoint a special counsel, or what is the statement?
Well, here's the way she can do it very easily. She can take a list of any number of outstanding people and ask the court for their help. Go to what they call the circuit court in D.C. and say, I'd like you to ask the chief judge to appoint one of 3 or one of 5, any number of prominent, outstanding counsels, people who've had experience in this area, and that's the way to resolve this. And what she's doing now is really hurting the president.
Let me ask you this, though, Senator D'Amato, and be serious. Do do you really think the Clintons actually did anything in this deal?
I just don't know, and I think what happens is this thing gets nastier and nastier as the rumors go on, and they're hurting the president. And I've said before, we ought to get this thing out and get it cleared up and give him a chance to be president instead of having these rumors. And this is the kind of stuff that really turns the American people off. Turns them off to the entire process.
Well, I bet it's media driven too, And,
sure.
I just wonder. I've read as much about it as I possibly can.
See, the other thing is that you've got the statute of limitations that is ticking away.
Of course, you'd know about that.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding, Senator.
I've ducked under all mine, so I can say screw them. But
well, but I mean, there's been, I've read a lot of stuff. There's been no real evidence here that he's done some, that they were done some horrible thing here.
That's why I think what it is, the fear of getting whatever it is out becomes worse than whatever may or may not have happened. It's like that whole business with my cousin. Did he help his cousin? Didn't he help his cousin get a HUD house? I mean, for Christ's sakes, if you weren't going to help your cousin, who would you help?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
of course you got a HUD house. I got a HUD house.
So it's nonsense. You
Charles
got the swimming pool. Bernard's got the ocean. I take care of him.
On another note, Senator D'Amato,
I was in Mexico, and I did encourage that revolution.
Bobby Ray Inman.
They ought to send him to Mexico. That's a joke. He is a joke.
Senator D'Amato.
Yeah, baby.
Bobby Ray Inman.
He's a joke. I'm voting against him.
Okay.
And not only because he didn't pay his taxes. I mean, and you and I, you know what would happen. You'd be off the radio, and I'd be off the Senate.
Yeah.
Look at the companies he's headed. Death and destruction wherever this son of a gun goes.
Yeah, but don't
bankruptcy.
Yeah,
Did you know that?
Yeah, yes, I know.
So what kind of a great guru is this? And here he's going to manage our nation's defenses. We've got all kinds of problems. He's a consummate inside ass kisser.
Yeah, but
oh my God,
let's get rid of him.
Don't pull any punches here, Senator D'Amato.
Say what you mean. Let your hair down.
Let your hair down.
Yeah, really.
Well, I want to help you radio. Hey, by the way, I absolutely, I tell you now, this is horrible. Mama said to me, she said, "What's the matter? You used to be a bigger boy. He used to take you on early. Now, all of these other guys, a dollar bill, he goes the first. A Bobby Dole, he goes the second. And you go a last. So what's happened?"
Let me tell you something. You've been on this program for years.
Hey, we're buddies. We're buddies. So, we got to have fun and break them.
You know that I would do anything for you.
I know that.
I don't pull, and I don't.
No, I know that.
Okay.
I know that, and that's why. I come on whenever I can with you, whether I'm running or not running.
Are you going to run for governor?
I love, isn't this good? I want to show Hamlet up there, Hamlet. That two can play the same game. So I'm going to wait around a while so I can torment him. He deserves to be tormented.
But what
out, didn't you?
What a great race that would be, you and Mario Cuomo, wouldn't it?
Yeah, we could. I'll tell you something. We could charge tickets for those,
because
for the debates. We could sell those tickets.
I mean, he has no fear, and we know you don't. I mean.
Well, I'm too stupid. I mean, I know, but anyway.
So you're going to just do that. So you're not going to obviously decide, and you're just going to.
I'm not going to decide.
Jerk everybody around until you get decided, and then later on decide what you're going to do.
Yeah, well, maybe we can get this mystery candidate that they all said we have, and if we get somebody that can beat him, I am not going to run. If we don't get someone who can beat him, I said we'll leave the door open. We haven't closed it.
Senator,
but you know who's going to make that final recommendation? You and Bernard, and we're going to meet in that little mafia. I mean, that little Italian restaurant that you take me to.
What are you nuts? You're talking. God, come on.
Last one you took me to. Let's get you. I want you in the family too.
Antelotti is over on 49th Street here in Manhattan. Yeah, great place. Senator D'Amato, thank you very much.
Hey, good being with you. Healthy New Year, huh, for everybody.
Thanks, Al.
Yeah. Right.
15 after 9 to 9:15 in New York. I'm Mr. Warren.
It's on their face.
Warren Rudman said that it was awfully serious.
You can say all that you want. Let me tell you something. Did you ever hear Tom Precious? Did you ever hear Tom Precious?
In an improper, inappropriate
Bob
manner
Abrams.
for the personal gain of
No, wait a minute. He never said for my personal gain. And that's you putting that in there.
Your brother was indicted.
And you want to know
for misuse of the office.
Well, let me.
Are you denying that your brother was indicted?
Bob
I'm going to misuse of your office.
Don't make me jump early here. Wait just a second.
Using your stationery.
Hold it! Shut up!
Imus in the morning. Counselor, you're out of order.
Paul Madriani is prosecuting an explosive case. A bizarre series of double murders.
If you wanted to have that printed as an op-ed piece in the Times, what do you do? To send it over?
Oh, absolutely.
But would it be inappropriate to send
Let
it?
them call first.
Huh?
Someone should call first and let them know it's coming over. Maybe even fax it.
But what if you were to, like, you wouldn't want to send it to the Daily News at the same time, would you?
You know, I don't know what the etiquette is about that.
I don't either. I tell you that the Daily News would run it Sunday.
I agree.
I mean, I know they would.
Yeah.
But I'd rather have it in the Times. I'd rather have it in the New York Times, obviously, than, you know. No, I'll call Anna Quinlan and I'll ask her what to do.
That's a good idea.
Should I?
Sure. Yeah. That's a good idea.
Logical.
Maybe they'd run it
having her as
Sunday.
a friend if you can't.
Yeah. Maybe they'd run it Sunday. I agree with that.
What?
Maybe they would run it Sunday at the Times.
Well, I'll call, I won't call and ask. I'm going to call and ask her what I should do.
Well, that's sports.
Well, this has been fun this morning, hasn't it? Other than me. I mean, have I just gotten too far out of line? Or? I have?
Yeah.
Are you being serious? Huh?
Yes. I'm being deadly serious, absolutely. Well, I mean, just on occasion, just when you just, like, explode, that's going a step too far, of course.
Now, tell me how much time I have this hour. What the deal is, Bernie? How many stop sets do we have?
We only have 4 this hour. This is the first one, and we have 3 after that. This is a set with Eileen in it.
I like it. I love it.
And we haven't, we can do sports. We haven't talked much to the doctors.
Okay, well, we'll do this. We'll talk with the doc. We've talked a lot with the doc. We did that whole... Well, if the doc run the Today Show, she's bound for 7 minutes. Get out of here.
We got the great patent bit ready to go.
All right, let's do that.
I take ulcer medicine to heal it. Sometimes, though, certain food gives me indigestion. Doc said, you also need an antacid, like Riopan.
We just can't do everything. I understand that. We still got the Scotzo thing for tomorrow, which is great. That's a great bit, didn't you think? The Imus's lady deal?
I did indeed. Very fun.
Does a job on indigestion and heartburn. I take it seriously.
Of course I'm tired. I worked till 1 o'clock. I mean, I went to bed and I got back up. I had to go back in and make that correction.
Yeah, but Mama's a bad...
I'm going to send it that way and not make the correction. Let them do it.
Yeah, they will.
I didn't notice anything that needed correcting.
Just one spot.
Was there a
Now see why it takes us forever to do anything, because in this case he wrote the first draft and then I rewrote it and then he takes and rewrites it and I rewrite it,
right.
And then he can always find something wrong. You know, some punctuation is subjective.
Oh, you're talking about that, a grammatical or...
Yeah, just a
colon where he thinks, and he gets his... But his problem is that he doesn't know when to turn loose. You should talk to him, not me. You should be giving him... He doesn't know when to say, what are you doing?
Step on his other lung.
I don't care about the cameras being here at all. I'll just come over there and smack you.
Justifiable homicide.
You're not going to do anything.
I'll come and smack you.
Why don't you sit down?
I'm a witness.
Why don't you sit me down?
People can't see how fat you are.
Am I fat? Am I fat, Doc?
No,
absolutely
not.
You look really good in that shirt.
Gilbert sounds different.
Dancing too. All right.
We're going to do Eileen Scotzo, the Doc, and Kinky Friedman, They Making Jews. Rush. Patton.
Nothing's faster or more effective than Alka-Seltzer.
Out of Eileen. All right, it's 20 minutes after 9 here in New York. It is time for the NYNEX Mobile Fan Highway Patrol. Here with all that stuff is Eileen Marchese Cohen. Good morning, Mrs. Cohen.
Good morning, Mr. Imus.
It's been fun this morning, hasn't it?
It sure has, and you look great.
I do?
Yeah, I was watching you.
What, are you legally blind?
No.
Jesus.
No, you do. You look good.
I do look good.
Bernard.
How's my hair look?
Oh, man. It's not long
It
enough.
looks
down and everything.
It looks nice, shorter.
I like it when you do that.
Wow,
You shake your head.
You look good in the ski mask, I think.
You know, you bald-headed stooge. Anyway, well, I got mad a few times. That wasn't very good,
No,
was it?
those were ugly incidents.
Yeah.
But he rarely does that, Eileen, right?
Yeah.
Rarely.
Well, no, that's not true. I get mad a lot. What does that mean, Doc?
You actually violate every rule there is for fair fighting. You're not supposed to hit below the belt line. You're not supposed to let it get out of control. You're supposed to stick to the point, and you're supposed to end by mutual consent. Those are the 4 rules of good fighting.
It's 21 after 9 now, 9:21 in New York, and we're back on a network here in New York. We're also being simulcast around the country on C-SPAN, and we were talking about my outbursts this morning. Here we talked to Georgia Whitkin, who is a clinical psychologist from Mount Sinai Hospital, and my outbursts are what now?
Well, you violate every rule of fair fighting. Here are the rules that you violate.
Well, it's not a fight. It's they won't follow my instructions.
Fair yelling. Okay. Violate every rule. You're supposed to stick to the point. You're supposed to not let it get out of control. You're supposed to never hit below the belt line.
When did I hit below the belt line this morning?
Oh. Let's have some examples.
Yes, one example.
Bald-headed stooge.
Well, he is a bald-headed stooge.
It's not true.
Well, I know, but you're talking about his behavior, not his head.
But I'm not 70 years old either, as you portray me every morning.
You just look
Anger without insight.
Okay, go ahead.
And you're supposed to end by mutual consent. You point and blow everyone up.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, because it is my program,
So, yes, it is.
But nobody gets made more fun of on this program than I do. They ridicule me from the time I get here in the morning until I leave.
That's true. Now for the good side.
And by the way, let me just say this on a serious note. Sometimes it hurts my feelings because I don't like to, I'm 53, but I don't like to be, and Bernard is a Nazi. And I don't like, and I ask him to stop doing it, and he won't. I said to stop portraying me as somebody who's like, 70 years old. I guess
you're drooling.
Yeah. You better wipe your chin.
You're drooling. Don't do that.
But I mean,
Get yourself on a monitor.
And you're senile, too.
They say I wear an adult diaper. And I'm glad we cleared up this relationship with this.
You mean you took it off?
I mean, I have this woman because that it's not, unacceptable for me to go out with somebody who is 23 years younger than I am.
I didn't say it was acceptable or unacceptable. I just said you're probably emotionally the same age.
Well, no, I'm just I'm not saying anything other than they were characterizing this and portraying this as something that was almost criminal and perverse.
I'll tell you what it is. Here is legitimate research from the New England Research Institute as appearing in the Psychosomatic Medical Journal. Here's the profile of the high testosterone man.
All right.
Early involvement with drugs, impatient at school, expresses opinions forcefully, expresses anger freely, dominates conversation, and prefers many younger women.
That's not me. I had some. Everybody knows I'm a recovering drug addict and alcoholic. I freely admit that.
So that's drugs.
Okay.
Expresses opinions forcefully, expresses anger freely, dominates conversation.
I don't dominate conversation. I'm a very good listener. You ever heard me interview somebody?
There you go.
You do listen well also.
Okay.
Also.
I don't dominate conversations at all.
Okay, from the...
So that's one that's wrong.
Would you shut up and let her talk?
Occupations with high testosterone levels, actors, entertainers, football players, and renegades of all type, low testosterone ministers, and men who are being harassed.
Yeah.
Radio jerks.
But I mean, I'm not obsessed with younger women at all.
You just choose them.
No, I absolutely don't.
Just want to hose them.
No, that's not true either.
Well,
I don't even, in fact, in some cases, I think it's silly for somebody my age to be going out with somebody who's 23.
But
I don't think it's silly if she's 30.
29.
Well, no, I don't. All right, here now, Imus in Washington Senior Military Affairs Advisor, the late General George S. Patton.
At ease. I have assembled you people here this morning to report some good news. And there's been precious little of that recently for those of us who wear the uniform.
Right.
The end of the Cold War, base closings, sissies in the barracks, and all the rest of it.
Right.
However, when we're under assault from both sides of the Potomac, from pant loads in the Pentagon and the wuss in the White House, a moment when the twin blasphemies of disengagement and demilitarization have become official policy, I am here to offer fresh hope.
Yeah.
Can I have the overhead projector? Let me have the first slide, Private. Now, many of you recognize this individual. This is Adolf Hitler, greatest adversary we ever had. Megalomaniac, sadist, fiend. Conquered half of Europe and beyond before we blew his ass away by assembling the finest military apparatus the world has ever seen. Next slide. Now this is Vladimir Zhirinovsky. He is not God. He just proves that there is a God so far as you and I are concerned. Mr. Zhirinovsky represents our best hope for saving our careers, people. I don't know whether he came out of an Austrian beer hall or not, but he very well may have. This is our new Adolf Hitler. At ease, at ease. I know you're excited, so am I, because this psychopath won 25% of the parliamentary vote in Russia. and he says he intends to become the next Russian president. Some of his stated goals, and I quote Mr. Zhirinovsky here, include creating new Hiroshimas and Nagasaki's in Germany. And, he adds, the same goes for Japan. Now, while I recognize that those words might be chilling for the nations named, for your interest and mine, they're poetry. Facing military bankruptcy here, suddenly a psychopath steps up and hands us a winning lotto ticket by vowing to restore the Russian Empire, cut off energy supplies to former Soviet republics, take back Alaska, for crying out loud, as he complains that there are too many Jews on Russian television, and then caps everything off by saying he wouldn't hesitate to nuke Berlin, Nagasaki, and Hiroshima. How can you not love this man? Because it means you and I, people, rather than getting Bill Clinton out of a job, are probably going to be called upon to once again kick a little international butt. Now, waiters are passing among you, as you can see, with trays of champagne. As I propose a toast, ladies and gentlemen, there is a new f***ing nut loose on the world stage, and I need not tell you that it just doesn't get any better than that. Thank you for your attention. That is all.
The late General George S. Patton here on the Imus Morning program. It's 9:27, all of it on the East Coast. We just began syndicating this program about 4 or 5 months ago. We are in 20 cities, among them Washington, D.C., and Cleveland, Ohio, and Boston, Massachusetts, and Denver, Colorado, and Tampa, Florida, and then places like Albany and Augusta, Georgia, and Scranton, and Harrisburg, and Kalamazoo, Michigan, and where else, Doc?
I was born in Augusta, Georgia.
Well, that's just great, Doc.
Yay.
Before the
Anyway, and we just signed Sacramento, California.
Great.
Where I used to work, by the way, KXOA in Sacramento. And we'll soon be on in Los Angeles and stuff. And the difference in this program being syndicated and that of, say, someone like Larry King or Rush Limbaugh is that we charge, Infinity Broadcasting and Unistar charges money for this program.
We get paid.
So in other words, if you are a station, say, in Washington, D.C., you have to pay several $100,000 to carry this program. With Rush Limbaugh, and as you know, I love Rush. We make fun of him, but that's beside the point. You know, Rush, you can get his show for nothing and put it on your little dopey station, and then, you know, you get to run your commercials, and then Rush runs his. Doesn't mean he's not any good. Doesn't mean anything. That's just the way it's done. So, anyway, now here is a woman from where, Bernie?
North Carolina.
Keisha. Good morning, Keisha.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm fine.
What's the matter, baby?
Well, I'm just watching you on C-SPAN, and I heard you say that only mental cases and shut-ins watch Rush Limbaugh, and I just want to let you know that's not true. I've never seen your show. I've never heard your show ever because I don't live in New York City or any of the aforementioned markets.
All right.
It'd be interesting if we could get your show around here because you're definitely intellectually stimulating, but I just want to let you know that, you know, not everybody that listens to Rush is in the category that you mentioned.
Well, let me just say this about Rush Limbaugh. We think both Chuck and I are huge fans of Rush Limbaugh, but we just make fun of him. That's all. Yeah, he's a big fat doofus.
Pig. He's a easy target.
That's all. But that doesn't mean we don't like him.
Oh, I know.
So let's not overreact just because we say there's a bunch of mental patients as shut-ins.
Yeah.
Listening to him, or people like you who obviously are on mushrooms. So.
We're kidding.
I know. I think
you're going with a little outburst, not me.
Yeah, tell him. In fact, I was talking to Roger Ailes, who produces Rush's television. I was talking to Mary Matlin. I said, I see Rush on television, and I just like him. He just is this big fat doofus, and he's just friendly and
likability.
Want to hug him?
But I mean, yeah, you want to hug him. But let me just say this: he's dumb. You know why Rush doesn't have any guests on his program?
Because he doesn't have the same views as you.
Nope, because he's afraid of them.
You think?
Absolutely. Yeah. Same reason he didn't go in the Army. When Rush Limbaugh was dodging the draft, I was defending this country in the United States Marine Corps. And you want to know what I was doing, young lady?
Oh, no. Blowing a bugle.
I was playing a bugle in the 11th Regiment. Well, whatever. It's 9:30 in the hour.
Well, I don't care what you think, but liberals stink, and Democrats almost as lame.
Here's Rush to sing now.
All those Negroes and Jews, they give me the blues. Our country's dying and Clinton's to blame. Feminazis are wrong.